All right, hi friends. Welcome to this edition of 10-Minute Talks with Hannah. So this one is all about Instagram stories, just because I feel like this is something that I want to make sure that we are continuously being really, really good at. Because here's my first initial thought. We need to be rocking our Instagram stories, and with our social media, we need to know what our goal is versus what Instagram wants from you, because the algorithm obviously keeps changing. And right now, when I'm making this video, reels are the thing. Reels are the thing that they want. They don't even want regular posts, and stories just kind of go on the back burner to reels. But you have to remember, Instagram is a company and they just want people on there. They want people addicted. They want views. And their goal for you is for you to become like this massive influencer, just like getting whoever to watch your stuff. Yes, they want your niche, however you say that word, but they don't really care about anything else. We know that we have a mission much larger than just being an Instagram influencer. So, this you can actually see it. We care about impact and inspiration over simply being impressive and becoming an influencer. So, one of the main ways to do that is to really amp up and focus on what we're doing in our stories, because reels might be how people can find us, but stories are how people get to know, like, and trust us. And that's how people are actually going to want to do this with us. And really is more of our goal. Like, cool, having new people find us is great, but the likelihood of those people like randomly finding us from reels that we're posting and really truly being like our people is a lot less likely than us actually spending the time and like friending our friends and like going and finding our own people. So our job with our social medias is, yes, like do the fun reels, do the reels that add value, still post about your life and about things that are upcoming and your thinking and all of that stuff. But really, really, I want you guys to be focusing on your stories, because those are the money. So each day, your story should show you are a coach, but also a human. If I'm going to your story any given day, I should know what you are doing or what you are learning on that day. That means you have to actually show your day. Even if you're like, my day's boring, I don't care. Like, most people's days are boring, but still look for like the beauty, look for the little things, and show just what you're doing, what you're thinking. If you're not doing any personal development of any type, it might be hard to find different things to share about what you're learning. But if you are, you should have a thought, a quote, something, at least from that you can share. Assume people will see your story once a week. Maybe you have people who watch your story every day, but for sure, not all of your friends. They're, they're not even watching a ton of stories every day. Like, do not assume that people are seeing things all the time. So we might feel like we're, you know, talking about an upcoming group or sharing pieces of our story or whatever, like a lot. But really, if people aren't watching your stuff all the time, they're probably missing a lot of it. And half of people, I think it might even be higher than that, watch stories without sound. So you need to make sure that your stories also make sense without sound. Um, Stories are also a way that new people who maybe do come to your page, like from a reel or from a friend or whatever, they're probably, if you have a story, they're going to watch it and see if you're someone that they vibe with and someone who they want stories to be popping up. And something I want you to do is rewatch your own story every day without judgment, without thinking like, oh, I look this way or I sound funny. Like, that's not what we're looking for. But figuring out like what's missing. And if it was one of your friends, would you watch it? Like, is it engaging? Is it fun to watch? All of that stuff. And part of the way to do that is have a mix of videos, pictures, and boomerangs, some with sound, some without, and all that. So here's some tangible tips on what you can do. So have a filter you love that looks good but isn't too over the top or fake. So none of those ones with like tons of like glitter everywhere or that makes you look like you're not really you, right? Yeah, just look for ones where you're like, oh, that helps lighting or that just makes things look smoother. Those are the ones that we want to be using. Know the things that you're going to post every single day so that people know that they can expect that from you. One of those things should be your workout. And it can just be like a quick time lapse, whatever. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. but people should know like just some of the basics of what they'll see when they come to your page. Like I said, share every day something you're thinking or learning, and do this in different ways. So I like to do it over the top of my workout video, have a thought for the day. Like very rarely am I actually talking about that workout that I did, sometimes, but for the most part, I'm sharing things. And every once in a while, I'll say like the podcast I was listening to, or recently I heard, or maybe I'll put quotation marks around it. But other times I'll just say the thing. Like people don't always need to know, like, I didn't make this up, unless whatever. So share those things. Talk in your stories and pretend you're talking to your 3-year-old niece or your friend's 3-year-old daughter, whatever. When you do that, you're smiling and you're energetic. It's like pretend you're FaceTiming with her to your phone, because you're not going to be FaceTiming with a 3-year-old little girl going, how was your day? My day was fine. Like you're excited, you're all of that. That's how you should be talking in your stories about what you're doing. And if you have a hard time like getting into that, practice. That stuff doesn't necessarily come easily at first. It feels very strange, like talking to your phone when no one's actually talking back to you, but just pretend. And also, when you are starting a video, start talking right away. Don't just sit there and wait. Yeah, don't wait. Find what font you like best and utilize hierarchy in words. So for me, I really like, they're not named, I don't think, but the really bold one. If I have something like big I want to say to emphasize, I use that. Then I use whatever the last one is as like my main words. And if I have like a sub thought, I'll put that in the first one. Like I have just a few fonts that I use, and I think it like makes it look really clean. I would personally avoid the one that looks like the chalkboard. It just doesn't look as professional in my opinion. But yeah, just kind of have a similar flow of how you do things. I also like to either have like the square thing around it, or I like to use the draw and like draw a semi-transparent circle, which is the third draw thing in, and like have a circle behind my thing. So just kind of a similar aesthetic throughout. So people like even if it's not a video of you, they're like, oh, this is Hannah's page. And try not to have different music back to back all the time. It's very jarring for someone watching. If you have like a music of your workout clip and then suddenly you're on a walk and you're playing different music and suddenly you like different music all the time. So I like to have like some music and then, like the actual sound of the video. Then maybe either a picture or a video without any sound. Like lots of times when I pour my Shakeology into a cup, I'll turn the sound off because the sound of it just like into the cup, it's not the most appealing sound. So I'm like, I don't need to show that. And it's okay to turn off your sound. Take pictures and videos and post them when you have time. Sorry for the typo. No need for everything to be real time, especially if you're like off at a pumpkin patch with your kid. Just take pictures and stuff, but wait till you get home to actually put it all together. That way, A, you can be present in the moment. B, your story's going to flow a lot better and you can like tell a story better. And C, you're actually probably going to have better things because you might like take a picture, but take a better one later on. So that just helps a lot. Use Canva or ask me for help because I love doing this to make some more templated stories to promote upcoming things, whether that's a group, coaching, a sneak peek, whatever. But having those not as the only thing in your story, but as part of it really helps make your stories a little bit more professional looking. And also, I don't know, I think when there's a lot of copy on something like that, especially if there's pictures that describe it, it can be easier for people to read through and do all of that. Instead of always just you talking. Take note of stories you enjoy watching and mimic the things you like about them. So whether that's other coaches or just other people you follow, if there's someone you're like, oh, I love watching their stories every day. Why? Why do you love their stuff? Like, do they have a really cute kid and they just show them in a fun way? Do they share tips? Like, what is it about them? And what things can you take and you pull? Whether it's like the content that they're putting out there or maybe just the aesthetic, how things flow. Like, take mental note of those things and mimic them. Share anytime you get a package or a prize, whether that's from corporate, from me, from whoever, and share it and tag who it's from. It's great when we can also share, whether that's like an Energize Boomerang or whatever, feel free to tag other people. And if someone tags you and it flows with what you're talking about, use it. But you also don't have to feel obligated to use it when people tag you. But it's also great if you tag other people to give them the option to use your stuff too. Doing that also shows that we're in this together, that it really is a team and not just you doing it by yourself. Try to avoid saying often, hey, I just wanted to pop on real quick to say blah, dot, 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 dot. Your Instagram story is just a flow. So when you're saying, I just wanted to pop on real quick, like when they're watching it, it kind of breaks it up for them. So for you, you might not have been on in a while. So for you, you're just popping on, but they're trying to watch like a congruent story. So when you say that, it's a little bit jarring. And saying all that takes time. And like I said before, like get to the point. If you're saying something, say it right away. Even I was listening to one of the top coaches in the company right now, and she was realizing that she'll swipe if someone takes a breath before they say something in a video. So she makes sure that immediately she starts talking when she's doing a story. Pretend like you're talking to one person because you want the gal who's watching, she is one person. So you want her to feel like you're talking directly to her and not just like, hey, everybody, but, more like, hey, friend. And then the last one, utilize polls, the swipe option, questions, but also don't be discouraged when no one uses them. I put those things in mine occasionally, and very, very rarely does someone use it unless it's a poll about like what I should wear or what I should eat, right? But if it's something that has to do with Beachbody, people rarely ever do it. If it's like, ask me a question, no one ever does it. But put those things there just in case, like you never know. And also you putting that stuff out there saying like, click this poll for more info. Even if no one ever does it, that puts in the mind of the person watching like, oh yeah, she wants me to ask for information. Like she has information to send me. And it just puts that in their mind. Anytime you have a multi-slide story about something Beachbody specific, see who watched the whole thing and then feel free to invite them, because if they watch the whole thing, they're at least interested enough to stick around and they want to hear what you have to say. If you need help with wording on what to say, reach out. I'd love to give you some ideas. Look for the beauty in your life and share it. One of the reasons I like this is one, it helps other people see beauty around them, but it also really, really helps you look for the beautiful things. So whether that's you're on a walk, look for the beauty that's in nature, whether that's a flower, the clouds, the trees, whatever. Look for the beauty in the mundane moments with your kids. Like you sharing them, you're not trying to pretend your life is perfect, but it really will help you shift your own mindset in looking for those things that you can share. A hard one, but really important. Let go of what others will think. It's totally fine to show up with your house being a mess, no makeup on. It's okay to mess up your words. You don't have to be perfect, and stop judging yourself so hard. Like the whole point of Instagram stories is letting people behind the scenes in your real life, in the mess, in the joys, in all of it, because they would just want to see how you're doing life. And the whole beauty of Beachbody is we are just trying to do life well. So that means you got to show it, but that means that you can't care what other people may or may not think, just show it. And also then ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? And those are things that you should be showing the most. So like for me, I want to be known for my faith, that I do take care of my body, that I love my kids, that I love my husband, that I'm an encourager, like stuff like that. So since that's stuff I want to be thought of for, like I need to be showing those kinds of things. And finally, find your flow and make it fun. Otherwise, you're going to do it for a few days because like you get on a big kick of like, I'm going to do this, but then you're going to give up. And we need to be in our stories all year round. Like this is an ongoing thing, showing life. But with that, take Sundays off. It used to not be good for the algorithm. Now it's actually good for the algorithm, but don't worry about the algorithm, you guys. I do not want you addicted to your phone. I don't want you addicted to social media. And it's really healthy to take a day completely off. So I personally like to do Sundays and just stay off. That doesn't mean like that you're being legalistic about it. But yeah, just don't post your stories, but also don't scroll. Like, try to actually live your life. So those are the tips I have for you. Hopefully some of them were helpful. And yeah, know if you ever have questions, I am here to help. Bye, friends.